Good day everyone, my name is Ashley. Welcome to our 30 minutes skin coach session. Today we are going to talk about the skin. The skin is basically another very important topic because, as you all know, I've been working in the skincare industry for the last 15 years, and I would say that this is another thing that you must learn as a skincare expert. Because in order for you to explain what are those active ingredients that you are going to explain or give to the customer, you must understand what is the purpose or how it's going to work. And you can only explain that if you know the skin structure itself. So let's begin. Now let's talk about the skin. The skin is the largest organ of the body with a total area of 20 square feet. And also the skin protects us from the microbes, from the elements. It also helps us to regulate the body temperature, and also it is the one that is responsible for sensing, touching, and feeling. Now let's talk about the first layer of the skin, which is the epidermis. Now basically the epidermis is an outer layer of the skin that acts as a barrier in order for you to understand what really the job of the epidermis. And also aside from it acts as a barrier between the body and the environment, the stratum corneum is the uppermost layer, is made up of corneocytes, flat dead skin cells forming the skin barrier as a basal layer. And of course also on the bottom layer is where your pigments is produced. So basically the epidermis serves as the first protections of our skin and giving us the color, of course, and the texture of the skin. Now, if you can still remember the different cells that I talk about, which is located in the epidermis, which is the keratinocytes, melanocytes, and the Langerhans cells. Now, let's talk about the keratinocytes. Keratinocytes is which it produces the protein known as the keratin. And also, it is the main component in the epidermis where you can find it. The melanocytes is the one that is producing the skin pigment known as melanin. If you can still remember, in my previous video, we spoke about the melanogenesis process, and the melanogenesis process is actually happening in the epidermis. Now let's talk about the second main layer of the skin, which is the dermis. The dermis is located in the middle layer of the skin as housing nerves, gland, essential proteins, enzymes, blood vessels, making our skin operation centers containing collagen, elastin, which provide support and structure of the skin. Now in the dermis, where you can find the two main proteins, which is the collagen and elastin, and also the two glands, which is the sweat glands and also the sebaceous gland, which is the one that is giving you oil. Now let's talk about the last part, or the last layer of the skin, which is the hypodermis. In hypodermis, it lies below the epidermis and dermis, and it's comprised mainly of the food. Basically, it is the fat storage, the blood vessels, and the nerves. This layer acts as a cushion that also insulates the body. Now let's talk about the elastin, because as I've said and as I've mentioned, there is two proteins located in the dermis, which is the elastin and the collagen. Now elastin is basically the essential protein that gives the skin the ability to bounce back after stretching. So if you can still just think about the elastin, which is the elasticity. So this kind of protein is the one that is responsible for the skin to be more elastic, okay? And also, the breakdown of elastin leads to a sagging of skin, and sun exposure and also repeated facial expression can damage the elastin. Now let's talk about the collagen. Now collagen is another essential protein of the skin because it gives the skin structure. So if the elastin, the main job of elastin is for elasticity, mainly the collagen is more for structure or firmness of the skin, okay? So mainly the damages of this collagen is lead to fine lines, and also if you've been staying long hours in the sun, or you've been always going in the sun, it can damage the collagen. And also of course the age can actually degrade the numbers of the collagen. Now let's talk about the blood vessels. The blood vessels is a network of blood vessels that is found in the dermis and also subcutaneous layer. This vessel supplies the skin with oxygens and nutrients, and the blood vessels also play a role in regulating the body temperature. Now let's talk about the dermal epidermal junction, or DEJ. Now, the dermal epidermal junction it connects the dermis and the epidermis. Now, the main job of dermal epidermal junction is the home to the network of blood vessels that passes all the nutrients from the dermis to the epidermis. And also the dermal epidermal junctions, it actually thin with age, making the skin more prone for sagging. And basically the sebum, it helps waterproof the skin, and also sebum forms as a film on the skin that keeps the water and irritants out. Now let's talk about the sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland is located at the root of the hair follicles, and this gland is actually the one that is producing oil, and this oil is called sebum. And also the main job of this sebaceous gland, or the sebum, it actually lubricates and waterproofs the skin and the hair. The sebaceous gland is also present everywhere except in the palms, sole, and also in the feet. And also the sebum is the oil that is overweight substance that produced by the sebaceous gland. So if the sweat glands, the main job is to sweat out or to hydrate the skin, the sebaceous gland is basically something to lubricate the skin, and also it giving the skin more moisture. Now we just finished talking about the basic skin structure, which is, I would say, it is very important to talk about. And if you have any question, I appreciate if you can write your comment down below. And I hope that you find this video educational, and see you next time. And if you have any question that you would want to address, I appreciate that if you can write it so we can improve our discussion later on. For now, I would like to say thank you so much. Be safe and stay in your home. Have a nice evening, and goodbye. Bye.